Hello. Today General Hospital will reveal General Hospital has once again proven why it remains one of the most unpredictable and conversation-driving daytime dramas by making a move that no one saw coming. The sudden recast of Charlotte Cassadine. For nearly a decade, Charlotte has been a fixture in Port Charles, a character audiences watched grow from childhood into adolescence. Scarlett Fernandez first stepped into the role at just 7 years old, and over the years, she became synonymous with the character. Fans came to associate Charlotte's vulnerability, fiery spirit, and complicated family history with Scarlett's expressive performance, making her departure from the show feel both shocking and bittersweet. The announcement that Scarlett was leaving to pursue new directions in her life and career was accompanied by warm acknowledgement from the production team, who praised her years of work and the way she helped shape Charlotte into one of the most dynamic young characters on the canvas. For loyal viewers, this transition marks the end of a significant chapter, but it also signals the beginning of something new. That something new arrives in the form of Bluesy Burke, the 17-year-old daughter of actor and musician Billy Burke, whose name is widely recognized thanks to his role as Charlie Swan, the protective father of Belle in the Twilight Saga, and his television work in CBS's Fire Country. Bluesy may be stepping into the world of daytime drama for the first time, but she does not come to this role unprepared. Having grown up in an artistic household with both her father and mother, actress Pollyanna Rose, she has been immersed in the rhythms of storytelling, performance, and creative expression from an early age. Her father famously penned a song titled Bluesy Lou in her honor, showcasing just how much her presence has always been tied to artistic inspiration. Beyond the influence of her family, Bluesy has also carved out her own experiences, with credits that include a small role in Olivia Wilde's acclaimed film Booksmart, and an expanding resume that demonstrates her ability to adapt to different types of projects. The casting decision is more than just a routine recast, it represents a shift in tone and direction for Charlotte as a character. At 17, Bluesy brings a maturity and complexity that will allow the writers to explore deeper, more layered stories. General Hospital has long been known for its multi-generational storytelling, and Charlotte has always been poised to become one of the central figures in the next wave of Port Charles drama. With Bluesy now inhabiting the role, Charlotte can be aged into storylines that reflect her Cassadine legacy while also connecting with other legacy children like Danny Morgan and Rocco Falconeri. This gives the show an opportunity to highlight the next generation of young adults while weaving them into the existing fabric of secrets, betrayals, and power struggles that define the Cassadine family. The decision to recast with Bluesy also reflects General Hospital's tradition of using pivotal characters to transition between eras. Scarlett Fernandez's Charlotte gave fans the perspective of a troubled yet sensitive child caught between powerful parents Valentin Cassadine and Lula Spencer. With Bluesy taking over, Charlotte's identity as a young woman now offers the chance to explore how her upbringing under such complicated circumstances has shaped her worldview. Storylines may delve into her strained history with Anna Devane, who once mistakenly shot her, or her conflicted loyalty to her father, Valentin, whose ties to dangerous organizations like Pikeman Security have marked him as both protector and threat. Bluesy's version of Charlotte can embody the contradictions of a teenager learning to assert independence while still navigating the shadows of her family's dark legacy. Outside of acting, Bluesy has openly shared her love for volleyball, even dedicating a separate social media account to the sport. This athletic background adds another dimension to her personal discipline, teamwork, and determination which could translate into her portrayal of Charlotte. Playing a Cassadine requires more than delivering dramatic monologues. It requires embodying resilience, intensity, and an underlying vulnerability. Bluesy's youth and real-life passions may help her infuse Charlotte with a sense of authenticity as she steps into emotional storylines that demand rawness and credibility. For fans, the initial adjustment to a new Charlotte may be jarring, especially after Scarlett Fernandez's long tenure. However, recasts are nothing new to General Hospital, a show with decades of history and characters who have lived through countless transitions in both story and casting. The strength of the show has always been its ability to balance nostalgia with reinvention, and this latest move exemplifies that philosophy. Scarlett's Charlotte brought innocence, mischief, and early hints of Cassadine cunning. Bluesy's Charlotte has the potential to push the character into bold new territory, becoming an active player in the schemes, romances, and betrayals that define Port Charles. The timing of the recast also sets the stage for upcoming fall storylines that promise to re-establish Charlotte as a key player. Writers have teased that Charlotte will be placed in situations where her connections to Valentine become a bargaining chip for those seeking leverage, while also developing her interactions with her peers in Port Charles. This places Bluesy at the center of narrative arcs that could define her career, giving her a chance to showcase her range in both dramatic and heartfelt moments. Ultimately, the replacement of Scarlett Fernandez with Bluesy Burke reflects both the inevitability of change in soap operas and the creative opportunities that come with it. For Scarlett, it is a graceful farewell to a role that allowed her to grow up on screen, leaving behind a legacy that fans will always remember. For Bluesy, it is the start of a new journey in front of a passionate fan base. One that will scrutinize every performance but also has the potential to embrace her if she captures the heart and spirit of Charlotte Cassadine. In true General Hospital fashion, the drama is not just on the screen, it lives in the transitions, surprises, and risks that keep viewers invested. As Bluesy steps into the spotlight, all eyes will be on her, waiting to see how she redefines a character who has become an essential part of the Port Charles tapestry. General Hospital's decision to recast Charlotte Cassadine with Bluesy Burke has quickly become one of the most talked about developments in daytime television. Not only because it involves a beloved and controversial character, but also because it marks a pivotal shift in how the show will handle its next generation of legacy players. When viewers tuned in on September 8th and saw Bluesy step into the role, the impact was immediate. For years, audiences had associated Charlotte with Scarlett Fernandez, whose expressive portrayal of a child growing up in the shadows of Valentine Cassadine's complicated life earned both sympathy and suspicion from fans. Scarlett joined the show at only 7 years old, and over time she became synonymous with Charlotte's blend of mischief, vulnerability, and manipulative instincts. Her sudden departure, explained by the producers as a personal decision to pursue new directions outside of Port Charles, left fans shocked but also reflective on how deeply she had shaped the character. It was the end of one era, but as the producers have emphasized, it is also the beginning of another. One that aims to give Charlotte greater depth and resonance as she transitions into young adulthood. With Bluesy Burke taking over, Charlotte's presence on screen immediately feels different. At 17, Bluesy brings a natural maturity to the role that opens the door to stories impossible to tell with a younger actress. This change matters, because General Hospital is known for letting its characters evolve with the performers who embody them. Scarlett's Charlotte was often portrayed as a child caught in the crossfire of Valentine and Lulu's complicated lives. But Bluesy's Charlotte can step into stories where she is no longer just influenced by her parents but actively shaping her own identity. The writers have already signaled that Charlotte will become a key figure in the fall storylines, positioned as both a pawn and a power player in Valentine's ongoing struggles. This direction not only honors her history but also aligns with the Cassadine tradition of weaving younger generations into plots of betrayal, ambition, and dangerous alliances. Bluesy herself seems well suited for the task. Born into a family of performers, she has spent her life surrounded by the world of storytelling. Her father, Billy Burke, is recognized by millions as Charlie Swan from the Twilight Saga, while her mother, Pollyanna Rose, has an acting career of her own. Growing up with these influences has given Bluesy a strong foundation in performance. And her early career choices, such as her role in Olivia Wilde's acclaimed book smartens her ability to handle material that requires both humor and emotional complexity. She is also known for her athleticism, particularly her love for volleyball, a passion she has shared with fans online. This combination of discipline, artistry, and youthful energy makes her an intriguing choice for Charlotte, a character who must embody the intensity of the Cassadine family while also feeling relatable as a teenager finding her way. The recast is not without risk, of course. Fans form strong attachments to characters and the actors who bring them to life, and Scarlett Fernandez's long tenure means her version of Charlotte is etched into the memory of many. But daytime dramas thrive on change, and recasts often become opportunities to reinvigorate characters, especially when those characters are on the cusp of new chapters in their lives. By bringing in Bluesy, the show is signaling that Charlotte is no longer a peripheral figure or a child swept along by adult dramas. She is becoming a young woman with her own agency, ambitions, and emotional struggles. This shift allows the writers to explore Charlotte's psyche more deeply. How has she processed her father's criminal ties? What scars remain from being accidentally shot by Anna Devane? How does she reconcile loyalty to her family with the moral compass she is still developing? These are questions that can only be answered convincingly when the character is portrayed by an actress capable of expressing layered emotions, and Bluesy's age and experience make her the right fit. From a narrative perspective, Charlotte's return is perfectly timed. Valentin Cassadine, her father, has been at the center of dark and dangerous storylines involving bikeman security and a tangled history with Anna Devane. As he struggles with both legal troubles and fractured relationships, Charlotte represents both his weakness and his legacy. Writers have hinted that Charlotte will be placed in situations where she is used as leverage by those who want something from Valentin, but also that she will begin to understand how to use her own power. This dual role as pawn and strategist places Charlotte in the tradition of Cassadine's before her, figures who balanced manipulation with moments of vulnerability. Bluesy has the opportunity to bring a fresh intensity to this, showing a Charlotte who not only reacts to her father's choices but begins making dangerous choices of her own. Equally significant is Charlotte's position among her peers. With Danny Morgan and Rocco Falconeri emerging as important teenage characters, the stage is set for General Hospital to craft the next generation of Port Charles storylines. These relationships offer fertile ground for exploring themes of friendship, rivalry, romance, and betrayal. A teenage Charlotte can serve as a bridge between families, carrying the weight of her Cassadine bloodline while also connecting with the children of Spencers and Morgans. Just as earlier generations of characters like Lucky, Lulu, and Nicole has once defined an era, Charlotte, Danny, and Rocco could become the nucleus of a new one. This not only excites longtime fans but also ensures that General Hospital continues to evolve, keeping younger characters at the forefront while respecting its deep history. Bluesy's Charlotte also allows the show to revisit past traumas and reinterpret them. One of the defining moments of Charlotte's earlier storylines was being accidentally shot by Anna Devane, an incident that fueled mistrust and resentment. Scarlett's version of Charlotte responded with the raw anger of a child, manipulated in part by Victor Cassadine's influence. But with Bluesy in the role, those wounds can be explored on a deeper psychological level. Charlotte as a teenager may grapple with betrayal in more nuanced ways, choosing to either weaponize her pain against Anna or to confront it as part of her own growth. The possibility of complex confrontations, full of subtext and shifting loyalties, makes her interactions with Anna some of the most anticipated. It is also worth noting that the Cassadine family name carries an aura of danger and unpredictability, and Bluesy's Charlotte could embody the full spectrum of that legacy. The Cassadines have always walked the line between villainy and redemption, and Charlotte, as Valentin's daughter, inherits both the brilliance and the burden of that reputation. Will she lean into the darker tendencies of her heritage, using manipulation and power to secure her place in Port Charles, or will she try to carve out a different path, resisting the pull of her family's destructive patterns? With Bluesy's youthful presence, the tension between innocence and corruption becomes all the more dramatic, allowing the writers to explore the Cassadine curse in a new generation. For fans, the adjustment period may be challenging, but many already recognize the potential this change represents. Scarlett Fernandez's legacy is secure. Her Charlotte gave audiences a reason to care about the character and to invest in her journey. Now Bluesy Burke has the chance to take that foundation and build something new, something reflective of both the natural aging of the character and the demands of more adult storytelling. This is the essence of daytime drama. Characters evolve, actors change, but the stories remain compelling because they adapt to new circumstances and new interpretations. As Bluesy steps into the spotlight, expectations are high. She will be judged not only against Scarlett's performance but also against the weight of the Cassadine name and the importance of Charlotte's role in the future of Port Charles. Yet, if she succeeds, and the signs suggest she will, this recast could become one of the most successful transitions in recent General Hospital history. It is a moment of transformation for both actress and character, and one that ensures Charlotte Cassadine remains at the center of intrigue, conflict, and passion for years to come. Scarlett Fernandez's decision to leave General Hospital marks the natural progression of a young actress who has grown up in front of the cameras and is now ready to explore new paths for her career and her life. Having taken on the role of Charlotte Cassadine at just 7 years old, Scarlett not only brought the character to life but also made her an integral part of Port Charles for nearly a decade. Her portrayal allowed audiences to watch Charlotte evolve from a wide-eyed child into a more complicated figure shaped by her father's dark legacy and her own sense of identity. That journey, filled with moments of innocence as well as unsettling glimpses of Cassadine cunning, gave Scarlett a platform to showcase her range. And she rose to the challenge with remarkable poise for someone so young. When the news came that she would step away to pursue new opportunities, the reaction was bittersweet, accepting at losing a familiar face, but also pride in seeing a performer recognize the importance of growth and independence. Cast, crew, and fans alike have expressed admiration for her contributions, acknowledging that she helped create a Charlotte who mattered, who stirred emotions, and who always left people talking. The choice to depart is as much about Scarlett's personal development as it is about the character's trajectory. At an age when many young actors reassess their priorities, Scarlett has opted to move into new territory, potentially exploring different roles or even different artistic endeavors altogether. For General Hospital, this decision is one to be respected rather than resisted, as the show has always been about evolution and change. The creative team has been clear in its gratitude for Scarlett's work, ensuring that her exit is framed not as a loss but as a transition, and acknowledgement that her foundation has paved the way for what comes next. In the world of soap operas, where characters outlive performers and stories stretch across decades, this type of handoff is common. But what makes Scarlett's departure special is the affection and recognition she has earned during her tenure. Into this space steps Bluesy Burke, a 17-year-old actress with the daunting but exciting task of reinterpreting Charlotte Cassadine. For Bluesy, this is more than just another job. It is a golden opportunity to make her mark on a franchise with over 60 years of history. A universe where fans scrutinize every detail but also reward authenticity and commitment. At her young age, Bluesy already brings with her a background steeped in the arts. As the daughter of Billy Burke, known for his work in The Twilight Saga and CBS's Far Country, and actress Pollyanna Rose, she has grown up surrounded by the craft of performance. She has also dabbled in acting before, with appearances in film and television projects that gave her early experience in navigating the demands of the industry. This unique upbringing has provided her not only with technical skills but also with a certain confidence that comes from understanding the realities of life on set. That confidence will be vital as she steps into a role that comes with built-in expectations. Charlotte is not a blank slate. She is a character with history, scars, and a reputation, and Bluesy must honor that while also finding ways to make the role her own. This balancing act, preserving the essence of Charlotte while layering in new dimensions, will test her range and creativity. Yet it is precisely this challenge that could elevate her career, offering her a chance to prove that she can hold her own in a complex, ensemble-driven environment. And like film roles that come and go, a role on General Hospital demands sustained commitment and the ability to adapt to constantly shifting storylines. For Bluesy, this is a trial by fire, but also a proving ground that could launch her into wider recognition. What makes this opportunity particularly significant is how it aligns with Charlotte's natural evolution in the narrative. At 17, Bluesy is the right age to embody a character who is no longer a child caught in the drama of others, but a young woman beginning to assert herself in the dangerous and emotionally fraught world of Port Charles. This age progression allows the writers to craft storylines that test Charlotte's loyalties, her resilience, and her sense of identity. How does she reconcile her love for her father, Valentin, with the knowledge of his crimes? How does she process her complicated history with Anna Devane, who once accidentally shot her? How does she navigate friendships, romances, and rivalries with peers like Danny Morgan and Rocco Falconeri? These questions demand a performer who can portray subtlety and complexity, and Bluesy's youth combined with her experience makes her a strong candidate to deliver exactly that. Equally important is the symbolic weight of her casting. By choosing a performer with both artistic lineage and youthful energy, General Hospital signals its commitment to investing in the future. Just as Scarlett Fernandez embodied Charlotte during her formative years, shaping her place in the Cassadine Spencer saga, Bluesy now represents the next phase of that legacy. She is tasked not just with continuing Charlotte's story, but with redefining her as part of the show's next generation. If she succeeds, she could become central to the long-term fabric of General Hospital, ensuring that Charlotte Cassadine remains a force in Port Charles for years to come. In this way, the transition from Scarlett to Bluesy is not merely a casting change, it is a passing of the torch. Scarlett leaves behind a strong legacy, one built on years of heartfelt performances that endeared her to fans and earned her the respect of colleagues. Bluesy takes that foundation and steps into the spotlight with the potential to carve her own legacy, one that honors what came before while adding something new. For fans, it is an adjustment, but it is also an invitation to rediscover a character they thought they knew, now seen through the lens of fresh talent and new storytelling possibilities. In the ever-evolving world of General Hospital, such moments of reinvention are not only expected but essential, and with Bluesy Burke at the helm, Charlotte Cassadine's story is just beginning a new, exciting chapter. The sudden recast of Charlotte Cassadine has stirred a whirlwind of emotions among General Hospital viewers, sparking heated debates while simultaneously igniting anticipation for what comes next. Soap opera audiences are famously loyal, and when a character they've invested in for years suddenly appears with a new face, the response is rarely lukewarm. For some, Scarlett Fernandez will always be Charlotte's little girl who first captured hearts with her expressive eyes and nuanced ability to embody both innocence and mischief. For others, however, the introduction of Bluesy Burke represents an exciting opportunity to see the character evolve into her next phase of life. What makes this moment so compelling is that both perspectives are true. Scarlett's Charlotte defined the past, while Bluesy's Charlotte will define the future. It is precisely because Charlotte has been such a polarizing and intriguing figure that her recast has generated so much conversation. She is not a minor character, she is deeply tied to some of Port Charles' most powerful families and storylines. As Valentine Cassadine's daughter, she embodies the Cassadine legacy of wealth, manipulation, and intergenerational conflict. As Lulu Spencer's child, she is also part of the Spencer line, a family historically locked in battles with the Cassadines. This dual heritage makes Charlotte unique, a living symbol of two warring dynasties, and places her at the center of ongoing themes of loyalty, betrayal, and identity. Fans understand this significance, which is why they are eager and perhaps nervous to see how Bluesy will handle the weight of such a role. For Bluesy Burke, every scene she plays will be carefully dissected by longtime viewers who are deeply invested in Charlotte's journey. Her tone, her expressions, her chemistry with key characters like Valentine and Anna will all be measured against expectations. Yet within this pressure lies immense opportunity. If Bluesy can capture Charlotte's complex satire tendency to oscillate between vulnerability and manipulation, she has the chance to make the role her own in ways that elevate the entire narrative. The writers have already promised that Charlotte will be central to major arcs in the months ahead, and that commitment ensures that Bluesy's performance will not fade into the background but instead stand at the forefront of General Hospital's most impactful stories. This moment also represents an opportunity for General Hospital as a whole to renew itself. Soap operas survive through reinvention, by embracing the tension between nostalgia and innovation. Longtime fans crave continuity, but they also hunger for fresh energy that keeps the show relevant and exciting. By bringing in Bluesy, General Hospital is signaling that it is not afraid to take bold steps. Rather than allowing Charlotte to remain static, trapped in the shadow of her earlier storylines, the show is pushing her forward into adolescence and early adulthood, a period rich with dramatic potential. Whether through conflicts with Anna, complicated loyalty to Valentine, or budding relationships with peers like Danny Morgan and Rocco Falconeri, Charlotte now becomes a lens through which the next generation of Port Charles can be explored. The excitement surrounding Bluesy's casting is also rooted in the recognition that Charlotte's story has always been more than just her own. She reflects larger questions about legacy, morality, and whether the children of Port Charles are doomed to repeat the mistakes of their parents. In that sense, the recast is not simply about replacing an actress but about reframing the narrative possibilities for an entire character arc. By giving Charlotte a new face and voice, General Hospital gains a renewed ability to explore these questions with depth and maturity. Fans are not just waiting to see if Bluesy can play Charlotte, they are waiting to see how the character herself transforms under new stewardship, and how that transformation ripples through the canvas of the show. As debates continue across fan forums and social media, one thing is certain: people are talking. In the world of daytime television, conversation is everything. When audiences debate, critique, and speculate, it means they are engaged, and engagement is the lifeblood of a soap opera. The passionate discussions about Scarlett's legacy versus Bluesy's potential are not signs of division, but of devotion. Viewers care enough to argue because Charlotte matters to them, and because they know General Hospital's writers rarely recast without purpose. That anticipation of seeing how a beloved character will look, sound, and act under new guidance is what keeps fans tuning in day after day. Looking ahead, the promise is clear. Bluesy Burke is stepping into one of the most fascinating roles in General Hospital's current landscape, and she is doing so at a moment when the show is ready to spotlight Charlotte as a central player. Her journey will not be simple. It will be filled with moral dilemmas, family betrayals, and the complicated process of defining her own identity in a town where secrets are currency. But within those challenges lies the chance for Bluesy to carve out her own legacy, not only as the new face of Charlotte but as an actress whose performance becomes essential to the tapestry of Port Charles. The road ahead is one where past, present, and future collide. Scarlett Fernandez's years as Charlotte will always be remembered as the foundation, a time when audiences first came to know and care for the character. The present belongs to Bluesy, who now carries the responsibility of breathing new life into Charlotte's story. And the future still unwritten holds the potential for this young actress to cement her place in General Hospital history. Fans will be watching closely, not just out of curiosity, but out of genuine excitement. They know that Charlotte Cassadine has always been a character who sparks conversation, and with Bluesy Burke at the helm, those conversations are destined to grow louder, richer, and more passionate.